The first gadget I'm going to try out is this garlic machine. It's a garlic press, and by the looks of it, we just fill it up with cloves of garlic, then turn the handle at the top and it squeezes out mashed garlic. Let's see if it works. So I cut off the ties and removed it from the packaging, and we've got this funky kind of peppermill sort of thing. Here's the handle at the top, and at the bottom there's this plate that swings round to reveal the holes in the press. I unscrewed the top, and this whole threaded plunger pulled out. And you can also unscrew the bottom. I took out this piece of paper, and here we can see the base. There's this plunger piece here which gets pushed down as we rotate the handle. This threaded piece here can slide in and out, but when you tighten it back onto the housing, it tightens up onto the thread so they work. And the idea is you should only need to undo the top piece a couple of turns, then you can pull the threaded handle out, tighten it back up, and now you can no longer just push this piece through, you have to turn it to screw it on down. Next I took a whole garlic, broke it open, and peeled all the cloves. And it's ready to use. Then I slid the plunger piece back inside the casing on the garlic press. But it didn't seem to want to slide all the way to the bottom. So I tried pushing it down with my finger, but I think that's as far as it goes. So I started loading it up with the garlic. I stacked them in there and pushed them down as far as they'd go. Then screwed the base back on, and it should be ready to try. I started turning the handle, and you can see the bar moving down. Then it starts pushing down the plunger. I found you had to screw it pretty much all the way down to the bottom before it started squeezing out. And then here we go, mashed garlic just kind of extruding out of the bottom. Okay, that's pretty cool. And once you've got enough, you can just swing this plate around to kind of cut it off the bottom. But I'm going to squeeze out some more. I'm getting quite a nice collection here. And if we take a closer look, it's not completely mashed it up, there is still some kind of fibre and texture to it, but I'd say it's done a really good job. This stuff would be perfect for cooking with. Next I want to show you this thing. Can you work out what it is? I'll open it up and show you. When I opened it, I found there were two in the box, and they're actually a device to help with lemon juice. It's like a super soft and flexible silicone, and I think we're supposed to put a lemon inside, then squeeze it until we get the juice coming out of the hole here. So, let's see how well it works. I'm taking a lemon, cutting it in half, and I'll try it out with this bigger half. So we kind of just push it face down into the gadget. That's cool, it really does grip around it. Then we just take off the cap and squeeze out the fresh juice. I really am having to squeeze actually. I'm going to change my grip. There we go. Squeeze a bit more out. Nice. Oh no. And a load of fresh juice just ran back over my fingers and onto the counter. So you definitely need to keep it face down. I'm going to put this other half into the other one, then try and give it a really good squeeze to break it all up inside. I did find though you do have to be quite careful because if you squeeze it too much, you get lemon juice building up and just pouring over the top. And then the cap fell off as well. I'm not so sure about these gadgets. You do have to be really careful with these caps because they are quite easy to knock off. And it could even happen if you put it down a bit quickly. I don't really see the point of it myself, because you may as well just squeeze the fresh lemon, although I guess this gadget would collect the pips. And of course the idea is you can just store them in the fridge. But what do you think? Do you like the idea of these? What's your favourite lemon gadget? Next I want to show you what's inside this bag. It's these 5 brightly coloured stick men. Unfortunately they're all individually wrapped again. What a waste of plastic. But they are quite cool, I'll show you what they do. To start with, you can see they're super flexible. I think they're made of silicone or something. Then if we take a closer look at the end of their arms and feet, there's actually a really small magnet inside. And if we look really closely, you can even see the polarity is labelled with an N or an S. So what's really cool is if we take one of the buddies, we can stick them together like this. And you can keep going to make a nice long chain of them. Then I hooked them back on themselves to make this sort of bowl thing. And you could even use it just about for holding some fruit. You can hook them together as doubles like this and rock them, but what's really great of course is they stick to the fridge. Haha, that was cool. So you can use them for things like sticking on notes. But I'm going to see if they're strong enough to hold this bunch of keys. Look at that, sliding down the fridge, trying to hold on for dear life. But of course what you can do if you're trying to hold something a bit heavier like this is use his buddies to help him out. This one's going to hold his hand and he's going to grab hold of the foot on this one. I really like these, they're fun and flexible and you could use them for all sorts of things. And if you want to buy any of the gadgets from this video, there's links in the description below. Next I'm going to take a look at this, butter cutter. I removed it out of the box and here's the unit. Quite a curious looking thing, isn't it? And if we take a look at the bottom, there's some weird mechanisms going on in here. Oh, I see, we push this yellow part and there's this blade that runs across the bottom which I guess slices off a piece of butter. You can open up the top here, and we're going to load in the butter here. But first we're going to need to remove this plunger. I couldn't really figure out how to do it. It doesn't seem to just want to push up out, so I had to take a look at the instructions. Oh, and it calls it the butter pusher, and it just says to shake it out. So I turned it upside down, and I gave it a good shake, and a few taps. And here it is, it's starting to come. Here we go. It's this square sort of plunger. And there's this sort of tooth at the back, which ratchets down as you use it. So, let's load it up. We need to cut some square pieces of butter, roughly the same size as the plunger, then put them down into the unit. Then take the butter pusher, I prefer to call it plunger, and push that down on top of the butter. Then clip the lid back on top, and it should be ready to use. Oh wow, look at that! We've got this perfect piece of butter straight out of the bottom. And if I hold it like this, you can see it working. Each time I press the trigger, it slides it back over the blade and cuts off another piece. Then when we release the trigger, the plunger pushes it all down, ready for another go. Pretty cool, huh? Sometimes you have to give it a little shake to make the butter drop off the bottom, but I've got to say, it seems to be working well. Of course, if you want to, you can load it up onto a little dish to serve on the table, or just take out the gadget and use it to cut a piece straight onto your toast. It doesn't look the prettiest of gadgets, but I've got to say, it works really well. I'm impressed. Have you ever seen one of these before? It's a butter knife with these small slotted holes running down the edge of the blade, and it's to help curl the butter as you scrape it off the block. The idea is this should help stop your bread or toast ripping apart as you spread on the butter. So let's see how it works. I got this piece of butter straight out of the fridge, and when I tried scraping some onto the knife, well, you can see a little bit has come through the holes on the back, but it's hardly anything impressive. I'm just going to use it on some toast and, well, yeah, I mean it spreads on as you'd expect really. But what I would say is the toast crumbs do actually clog up the holes on the knife a little bit, so if you wanted to get some more butter, you might end up contaminating it with these crumbs. So I'm wiping the blade off on the toast again. And let's go for a second pass. Again, it scrapes up the butter fine, and there's a few little, worms coming out to the back, but it's really not as impressive as I hoped. But now I'm going to try it with this butter. It's been out of the fridge for an hour, and it's a lot softer. Oh wow, look at that! As I pull the knife across the butter, we instantly get these beautiful curls. Now that is impressive. It looks really cool, but again, I kind of don't really see the point of it, because if the butter is as soft as this, it's not going to tear up your bread or toast, even if you spread it with a normal knife. But what do you think? Have you got one of these knives? Would you recommend it? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Next I want to take a look at this. Palm peeler vegetable peeler. To open it up, there's some perforated lines around the edge of the cardboard, then fold it over to reveal the gadget. So here it is. It's this interesting teardrop-shaped peeler, which comes with this protective case for the blades. You've got the blade here, and on the other side is this loop that you're supposed to slide your finger through. And at the front there's this sort of cutting scoop to remove any blemishes from your vegetable. I'm going to start by trying it out on this carrot. To begin with, it feels quite weird peeling like this, kind of just dragging your hand across it. But I gotta say, it does seem to be working really well. But once I finished peeling, it dawned on me I was using it slightly wrong. It's called a palm peeler, but I was holding it more on my fingers. So I pushed it down further so it really sits in the middle of my hand. And for this carrot, I want to time and see how long it takes. Let's go. That's one end, turn it around and do the other. And it's taken 11 seconds. That's not bad, and I would say it's done a really good job of peeling it. Next I'm going to try it out on this potato. This cutter here at the front is a little bit awkward to use, but it does seem to do the job. And again, peeling the potato, it really did work well. No issues at all. I think it just comes down to personal preference. What sort of peeler do you like to use? I did find this one really easy to wash. But what is annoying is this protective case they give you for the blade. It doesn't clip on, it just kind of falls off. What a shame. It seems a bit pointless. So if you're putting it away with your utensils, or you're rummaging through the drawer, it just falls off easily. Surely it should clip on. Maybe mine's faulty. This palm peeler's in the same range as this palm zester I used in a previous video. Again, this one slides over your finger and sits in the palm of your hand. It's got this really cool zesting blade, which you can twist to remove and access all of the zest. And if you'd like to see how well this one works, along with a series of other lemon-based gadgets, you can click on the links here, or take a look at some of my other videos. Have fun, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.